Laces out.
Hi, I'm looking for Ray Finkel. And a clean pair of shorts.
I'm open! Over here! 351! 351! Rover, sit! Hut!
Welcome, everyone, to Week 5 of the NFL and Episode 5 of Laces Out. My name is Matt, and I'm a Chargers fan that should fire a punter.
And my name is Shane, and we need a lot of help with Carolina.
You need a kicker.
Yeah, we need a lot more than that. Kicker would help. He still hasn't died and gone to hell yet.
Yeah. He's got that gonorrhea. That's why he keeps hooking him left and fucking him up.
He's fighting through it.
So for a little bit of a change, before we start talking about the games, we're actually going to talk about something that I saw on the countdown before the game started this Sunday. Was they were talking about the NFL is becoming the no fun league. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to these former players and former coaches talking about it, how it's no fun, that, you know, just let the players play and so forth. And I thought it was very interesting, some of the things they were saying. So I actually Googled it and I found some articles on what has really been going on lately. Because I knew there were some people getting fines and stuff for some of the taunts and crap that was going on. But I didn't know it was so much to an epic scale.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to the whole no fun thing league. To me, started back with T.O., Chad Johnson, a couple of those other guys. Yeah.
Get it right.
Oh, sorry. They were celebrating extensively and stuff, and some of them went a little overboard. But I think that's when a lot of it had kind of started, and now it's gone to even an extreme. When I first heard about some of the rule changes in the unsportsmanlike conduct, I thought that was a direct change from Josh Norman and Odell Beckham last year, because that game was ridiculous. They continued to go at each other, to basically get into a bunch of fights. And nothing happened. No one got kicked out. There weren't any flags, and they just kind of let it go. So that's what I thought this stemmed from. And then I hear about the taunting penalty, and I started seeing that in even our games. Cam Newton has a tendency to kind of overreact a little bit. It actually affected us against the Falcons, but I didn't even really know that they had made a change with that, and that had gone to the more extreme.
For instance, in this article I was reading, they were breaking down some of the players. This article seems to be a little bit more favored towards the players. They seem to shy away from some of the things that these players might have done. But they got like Terrell Pryor here was penalized in week 2 after the ball was flipped to an official, instead hit an opponent.
Right.
They phrase it like that, like, oh yeah, for sure he was going to flip it to the ref, and he probably threw it at the fucking guy. But should he have been penalized for that? Well, according to these new rules, and there's all this bullshit lately happening, yes, but what does this mean? I mean, to me, this is the pussification of America and just the world in general.
I understand if they go overboard. In Cam Newton's instance, he flips the ball at the player. That's exactly what he was trying to do, and he does his little over the top. It's not even really a dab. It's his first down celebration that he's done forever. And he does it because he's so tall, right over like the other player's head. The guy who came up and hit him, and he's basically saying like, your hit didn't affect me. That was a direct taunting thing. The unfortunate part for me, and maybe it's because it affected my team, but it was a 15-yard penalty.
Right. And they get fined.
And that's huge. Especially for if it's a first offense, if they're not a repeat offender, and it's not an issue that they're dealing with a whole lot. Kind of, it's mind-boggling. I don't know what they're trying to do, and it's such. The rule book actually has very specific examples of what is considered taunting, what's excessive celebration, what's unsportsmanlike, and some of them that were included were like sexual connotations or something like that, and
that's probably the most annoying one to me, because I believe it was Antonio Brown, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was fined multiple times now for twerking.
Right.
They have cheerleaders in half fucking naked costume,
right? Yeah,
half naked clothing on the sideline. Right after he gets this twerking penalty, they have a commercial on there where these people are twerking and dancing and thrusting all around. They were selling something. Right. I don't know what the hell it was, because commercials don't make any sense about the product anymore. So you don't even know what it was about, but these commercials that are advertising to these people, and it's supposed to be all family friendly. What can you do family friendly? I know this is Laces Out and this is about football, but this annoyed the fuck out of me. We just recently went to a WWE event, last night to be specific. Yeah. And the whole time, they were promoting their little network thing. And what can you do for $9.99 as a family? And they kept saying as a family. And these are grown men beating the hell out of each other in some instance, saying terrible things about each other in some instance. Mm-hmm. And there's half-naked women wrestling half the time as well. But yet this is supposed to be family programming. And I hate this shit. I hate family programming. Just let people be people. It doesn't have to be fucking, like...
The Attitude Era.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Attitude Era or anything like that, which is an era in WWF, old school WWF, where they did all kinds of weird shit. Old ladies were giving birth to hands. Yeah, Chinese people were trying to chop off a porn star's penis. Just weird shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't... I completely agree with you as far as drawing the parallels with wrestling. There's certain shows that I think do a really good job at having a serious tone that even kids can watch, because I have a son and he loves WWE and he loves everything basically about it, but he's obviously not going to get the blood, and that's not going to scare him, or the adult humor. He's not going to understand that. So I think if they do a better job at that, then that's where they should kind of toe the line. But I see, as far as, with NFL, it's hard hitting, like you said, it's kind of, originally it was aimed more towards the male demographic. Now, females have kind of come up in it, which is awesome. But
no, it's not. That's what I just mouthed to him, and that's why he started laughing. Okay, whatever. People can watch the damn show if they want to, but to start trying to pick up demographics to try to make your TV show, or in this instance, your league, more popular, is actually bringing it down, I think.
Yes.
Because the ratings are down this year.
Right.
I think now they have stretched things out so much.
That's because of Colin Kaepernick. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, the thing that I agree with you. If they pussifying it and trying to make this like, this soft, gentle, like almost two-hand touch thing, then yeah, that's crap. What I love is seeing my wife wake up early on Sunday mornings, literally yelling and cussing at her quarterback, and I'm like, yes, that's why I married you. Like that kind of stuff. That's awesome to me. And to to see women who can or hear women who can talk up their own team and are really knowledgeable about the sport, I see nothing wrong in that. But where the NFL has made the mistake is now they're like, oh, well, we're getting women. Now let's try to get more kids and, try to fluff it up a little bit, like that kind of thing. There's a difference between being concerned with player safety, and trying to look after certain aspects of the game, but still making it what it is. And now what we're getting at is the fact that they're taking away these celebrations because they may be too risque for children. There was a woman who wrote a letter to Cam Newton, a Tennessee woman, last year, because his dance took so long after he scored a touchdown, and it had sexual connotation to it, which it didn't. It was some gyrations or whatever, but there was no sexual connotation. She wrote a letter to him saying that she had to cover her daughter's eyes because it was inappropriate. And I think she's just mad they lost.
So I was listening to these guys, and they're talking about these pelvic gyrations, all these hip movements and stuff, and I'm like, this sounds really familiar. My dad was telling me about this stuff when fucking Elvis was popular.
Right.
They were talking about his hips and shit. Oh, he's so sexual with how he moves his hips. This was the fucking 50s and 60s, people. Yeah. We grew out of this shit, all right?
Right.
We're fucking adults now.
Yeah.
We're living in the real world, but now we're all regressing back. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's the goddamn, I don't want to get too serious about this, but it's the fucking self-esteem movement. It's all this bullshit pussification crap, the PC nature of everything. Mm-hmm. It's all coming back to bite us in the ass now. And this is what's happening. This is what's destroying all this crap that we do love.
Yeah.
It's because now All of a sudden, we're back to the fucking 50s again. Now we have to cover kids' eyes when someone does a fucking pelvic gyration.
Right.
Fuck off.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a line, and we're not trying to get too political here. We're just trying to show that there's a fine line in what you're trying to do and what you're taking away from what got you to the dance in the first place. If UFC started to family up their content, don't you think they're going to go down the shitter? And that's basically, I'm not comparing NFL to UFC and saying that they're the same thing, but basically the target audience starts out at one point, and they're trying so hard to branch it out to so many other aspects of like, how can we gain more money and more followers? And it's great that kids love football, but they should love it for what it is. There shouldn't be penalties and fines and trying to go after these players for more and more money because of whatever it is that they do after they score a touchdown or celebrate. One of the statistics, because from a lot of things that I heard is and read, is the officials were saying, oh, no, this is pretty much the same rule. We've added a little bit to it, but it's pretty much the same rule.
Right.
Well, in 2015, I think it was at this point in the season, there were 5 taunting penalties and 18 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. I think this was through the first 4 weeks. Then in 2016, through the first 4 weeks, 16 taunting penalties, 28 unsportsmanlike conduct. That shows a giant leap in what's being called, what's being considered, over double the amount of taunting penalties. And what I don't understand what they're trying to limit. I get if T.O. pulls a fucking Sharpie out of his sock and that can be dangerous. All right, maybe that's excessive. But come on, like some of this stuff, just let the players do what they do. Add a little bit more entertainment to the game and stop being so damn pussies.
I love this shit because they're taking away the taunting and everything. But when the fucking cameras are so close to the sideline and you can see a catch and you can hear all the fucking coaches and players yelling, "Fuck that!
Right.
Fuck that! He fucking caught it! He fucking caught it!" You just hear "fuck, fuck, fuck, fuck" over and over and over again. But yeah, this dude does a flex, and I can't remember who the player was, but it just happened in week 5. I can't remember the team or the player, but he hit a guy, he trucked him. They both go down, though. He gets up, and the one guy gets in his face, and then he just flexes, and boom, 15 yards, just like that.
Yeah.
On a flex.
Right. One of the aspects to this whole thing, to the NFL, that I love is that type of rivalry. I remember cussing at my TV because Jimmy Graham dunked on our field goal post as he scored a touchdown. That's when Jimmy Graham played for the Saints. There's a big division rivalry there, and I was pissed. And it was a crucial game, which I think we ended up winning and going into the playoffs, but that's how crucial that it was. But that's a part of the game. That's one thing that I love is like, fuck you, you bastard. Now I don't care. He's in Seattle. I could really care less. But that's a part of it. That's a part of life is heroes and villains. You know, other sides of the coin, they are trying to get at you. People should hate Cam Newton because he dances. Okay, shut him up. You know, like that kind of thing. That's how it should be, and it's gotten taken way too far at this point. And I don't know. I feel like it's just going to continue going this way to where they score and it's just going to be boring. There's nothing they can do. And
yeah, when they start doing this, and we'll play a video for you right now.
The 5. Touchdown, Dallas.
The ideal of sportsmanship began to take a back seat to excessive celebration. The athletes caring less about executing the play than planning the vulgar grandstanding that inevitably followed even the most pedestrian of accomplishments. The games themselves became subordinate to the quest for money.
See, now that is fucking taunting.
Yeah, that's excessive.
So, well, overall, we're going to end this rant right here and there because
Yeah.
we're going way longer than we already thought we would.
Yeah.
But there's already players out there, ex-players, and other people just saying, you know what, the players are just going to have to adapt. Nothing's going to change. And I just feel like that kind of lazy fucking thinking is how this shit gets out of control.
Yeah.
And so hopefully there will be some kind of backlash. Maybe the union can be useful for once. And,
right.
I mean, some people will think they're useful because of the concussions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, I just want them to be useful for me.
For my entertainment.
Yes. So, all right, week 5. Let's break down some of the games.
Here we go.
All right, fuck the Chargers, you pieces of shit.
Here's another rant.
All right, here's my other rant now. So the Chargers played the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. This game was highly contested. I thought it was great. I watched pretty much the whole game.
San Diego has a tendency to play Oakland really well in Oakland, no matter how they're doing it, seems like.
Right. Oakland plays San Diego really well. It's really San Diego's been the terrible team.
Yeah,
so
that's
usually they play them really well. And we've been to an Oakland Chargers game, personally. The one part in the game that I did find funny. So the Chargers did this great, like, just only 2-play score. It was just deep pass, then like a run.
Right.
And that was it. I actually think it was a screen. And it was really hilarious because there was like one Chargers fan. They pan up, and he's in the sea of black. And it's this black guy with these glasses. Have you ever seen the nerd guy from WrestleMania 31 with the weird face and shit? It looked like that guy. And he's just like, yeah. And he's like pointing around. And I was just hoping they'd go back up and see him getting stabbed. like after he did all that shit. But the game was really good until, again, we get to the fourth quarter.
Man.
The Chargers were coming from behind, and the Raiders earned all their points.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing. I never felt that the Raiders were just doing cheap shots. They earned their points. They got their fumbles. They got their interceptions. They deserved all those. The referees, I felt, for the most part, were doing great until near the end of the game. There's a play that happened in the end zone where the Raiders player, the receiver, went out of bounds, and there was a Chargers corner on him, and he had his arm barely bent, holding on, touching him. He went out of bounds. The receiver came up, the Oakland receiver came up, caught the ball in the end zone for a supposed touchdown. The referee threw his hat off because he was out of bounds and he was the first one to touch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So then the referees, I'm not kidding, they took a commercial break. Then they came back to the referees. They're still talking. The referee has the balls to get on the mic after they're done saying, after a brief conversation. And even the announcers are like, brief. Like it was a long conversation. They went through this whole thing about usually what the penalty is, or what the process is if you get pushed out of bounds and you're the first one back in, that's fine, and touch the ball. But if you're not, it's a penalty. So what they did was, apparently now it's, if you do get pushed out, you actually have to take 2 steps back in. You have to have at least 2 steps back in, then catch it. So they just called it an incomplete pass, but pass interference.
What?
So it put them on the 1-yard line.
I didn't see this. I only saw the highlights.
So it put them on the 1-yard line, but called it an incomplete pass. So the Raiders get pissed and throw a flag. Well, they didn't realize that apparently you had to take 2 steps back in bounds, even though you were pushed out. And the whole time the announcers are like, this is not a push. This is not pass interference. What are they talking about? Like, the announcers, and they even brought on like some professional jackass that used to be a fucking referee.
Probably like Mike Pereira or something.
Yeah, one of those guys, from New York, whatever, Saturday Night Live. They have him on there, and they're like, he's confused. They're confused. What the fuck are these guys talking about? He didn't push him. His elbow was bent. He didn't even have a fully extended arm pushing him out. He just ran along the route with him and just had a hand on him.
Yeah, great coverage.
Usually the pushing penalty is a actual push, not just your fucking arm out there.
Well, that's why the signal for pass interference is pushing your arms out.
And it was just a botched play. It was the fucking refs were screwed because the whole time they're in this conversation, the Raiders fans are just going nuts, and they know they're going to get murdered if they go against the Raiders.
Yeah.
So
because the Raiders fans wanted it to be a touchdown.
Right.
Okay.
And so they figured out some cockamamie thing to fucking make it where they're on the 1-yard line. Raiders challenge, and they still say it's an incomplete pass because he didn't technically make 2 steps back into bounds to fucking to make it a score.
But the penalty was upheld.
So they're on the 1-yard line. Raiders rush it in. Fucking easy peasy. I don't think the guy was even touched for 1-yard touchdown.
Jeez.
Like, it was like 10 minutes of shit because they were talking. Then there was the review. It was just a fucking clusterfuck. Then after that,
things went even further downhill.
Because the Chargers are just naturally retarded and they just want to implode. Of course, then Drew Kaiser or whatever the fuck his name is, he kicks a 16-yard punt. which it sounds like to me someone fucked up on the Madden buttons.
Yeah, basically. That's what it seemed like.
And so the Raiders obviously capitalized on that and scored off that one. And then the Chargers come back. They're down 3 points. Mm-hmm. And to put this bitch into overtime, there's 2 minutes left on the clock. They put this bitch into overtime, possibly, unless the Raiders come down and kick a field goal to win. All they need to do is kick a field goal. And it was a fairly close field goal. This fucker.
Well, I think he even got help because wasn't there a penalty or just a great play?
It was a good play. Lined him up in the middle.
Yeah, that pushed him up even closer. So he had a little bit of help before.
Right. So this guy just botches a perfect hike.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's no reason.
Yeah, just no reason that he misses it, and it just fucks the whole world up for the Chargers. It was just a great implosion. He's apparently no longer going to be the placeholder. They fired him from that, but he's still going to be the punter. And what's sad is this isn't the first time he's done this.
Wow.
He kicked a 17-yard punt against the Chiefs in Week 1 during their epic collapse in that one. This guy's a rookie, and I think he's going to probably stay a rookie because I think he's going to be fired after this season, and no one's ever going to pick him up. So that ends my rant on the Chargers. We're going way overboard here. So now we're going to kind of go to the Panthers. What happened with the Panthers? Okay. What the fuck's wrong with them now?
Oh, fuck. I don't even know. The weird part is the Chargers are 1-4. Carolina's 1-4. 2 completely different teams. Because I feel like the Chargers have had a chance to win every game that they've played. Carolina, not so much. It's been garbage. We are a little injured now, which I guess bandwagon fans can use as an excuse. It's not an excuse. Josh Norman not being there is not an excuse. I don't care what the fuck you say. You're an idiot if you think Josh Norman would make a difference with this team. There's different play calls. A lot of things are self-inflicted. It's the type of play calls that they're doing, the turnovers especially. I just looked it up. We're tied for second to last in the turnover differential. I think it was plus 14 or something stupid. The amount of turnovers that we have is just ridiculous. The amount of penalties that we have is stupid. It's mind-boggling. I don't know at this point if they can come back. A lot of intelligent fans, and even myself included, intelligent Panther
non-intelligent fans, myself.
We were talking about, okay, we've been here before, 1-3, and then 1 year, I think it was 2013, we ended up rattling off a bunch of wins, finished the season 12-4. We're saying, okay, we can do this, but now it's starting to look more difficult. We're going to have to come back and try to rattle off some wins. The schedule that was for an NFC championship team looked like, okay, pretty decent. They can end the season maybe 13-3 or whatever. But now that we're 1-4 and we have to pretty much win out a lot of the games, especially given with Atlanta being in our division, it's going to take a lot. There's some pretty solid NFC teams this year, even though it's kind of been all over the board. So they're going to have to do something, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't think the front office knows what the answer is. They're cutting people left and right. They're trying to bring in other people, and I think it's almost going to be to the point where they just write off this season and try to do some stuff in the offseason, which is unfortunate. So that's kind of my rant. We deserve to be at 1-4. It's pathetic. I know Tampa Bay, one of their other 2 wins was against Atlanta. They put up 31 points on Atlanta in the first game of the season, and they can only put up 17 on us, but it was 17 well-deserved, is garbage. A lot of, again, self-inflicted wounds. Even at the end, Derek Anderson throws an interception when they had a chance, so I don't know.
Yeah. So quickly going over some of the games, we had like New England versus Cleveland. I watched that game. That game was pretty funny to me because that's Brady's back. You wouldn't have known that they were in Cleveland because every time the Patriots scored, they cheered.
Wow.
It was hilarious. It's like you wouldn't have known they were in Cleveland except for when Cleveland actually did score, they still cheered. It was like They were just happy to see good football. That was it. And like, yay! And it also shows me that people's hatred towards the Patriots and Tom Brady is fake. And they just say it out loud, but when they're actually watching his ass play, they love him.
Well, what I loved is the media tends to make a story out of everything, which is fucking annoying. And the story that I was hearing was Tom Brady's going to be rusty. How can the team get him comfortable getting back into this? And I think he had 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. His accuracy was really high. He's not fucking rusty.
No.
He came back in like he didn't miss a beat. Boom, light up the Browns, who are now 0-5. and Yeah, and now New England goes to 4-1.
Philadelphia loses their first game of the season to Detroit. I always feel like byes are actually harder on teams, especially undefeated teams.
Right.
You lose your momentum, you lose your energy that you have going into the game. Matthew Stafford lost his helmet in the game, almost got hit, almost died. So
yeah, that was a heartbreaker, 24-23. We'll see how Philadelphia continues after this.
So my two pick'ems of the week, Tennessee and Miami was one. I was like, I don't even know who could win this, so I just went with the home team. So I went with Miami. That kicked me in the ass on that one. My other pick'em was Buffalo and LA.
Yeah, you fucking traitor. When I saw that you picked them, I was like, what the hell? So he decided our whole thing, all of our rants and everything about fucking Buffalo, bending us over and screwing us. He goes, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Go Buffalo. Win that division.
I'm still picking against them. So you'll get a win every time.
Cincinnati, even though the score looks kind of close, Cincinnati just got fucking murdered by the Cowboys. Atlanta took down Denver.
Oh man, that was surprising to me. Denver being at home. I know that they had their, I guess, backup in because Seaman was injured. He was injured this week. I don't know if he's coming back after this, but I still think the team overall is pretty good. And for Atlanta to go in there with Denver at home, I was shocked. Atlanta's a strong team. I guess that's the only positive as a Carolina fan. We lost to Denver, Minnesota, and Atlanta are 3 of our 4 losses. So that's a pretty solid schedule right there to go up against. But I don't know. I was surprised with that one.
All right, so let's go into our Week 5 results for Laces Out. Me, Matt, went 9-5.
I went 8-6. I'm pretty happy about that, actually.
Yeah, man, 2 games. 2 games up. So I have just pulled up another game. So now I have a 7-game lead going into the fucking 5th week.
I lost count. I'm competing against myself.
Just trying to get a better weekly score.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all I'm excited about. Oh, I did pretty good.
I tried to go out on a limb, pick some people maybe that's so much going to win, like Miami, like Buffalo. I tried to go out there. I even picked Carolina thinking, okay, you know what? They're going to have a resurgence this week. They're at home.
It should have been.
I thought that was kind of I was trying to go a little bit out on a limb on a couple of these teams to try to get that higher score. But yeah, now I'm just trying to get, I want to get like 11 games.
It might look like that. I don't know. We'll see. My strategy changes from week to week, kind of depending. Some of them are toss-ups. It's a little bit more difficult. I didn't take too many risks this week. I was trying to stay with what I felt, the outcome was going to be. There's certain games where I'm like, okay, I tend to overthink it, and most of the time that bites me in the ass.
Like Cincinnati, Dallas.
yeah, pretty much. The one that I did think, or that I didn't overthink at all, and I went with was the Rams. I just went, nope, fuck you, Buffalo. I'm going with the Rams.
Go Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
Love you.
You're the man. So
check out week 4 if you really want to see what I think about Rex Ryan.
And I think week 3, maybe even
week 2, week 1, I think all of them.
The last thing I have is I'm surprised that we have one 5-0 team. At this point in the season, usually you have 2 to 3, even maybe a 4-0 team, depending on buys or however that works. And we have one standalone 5-0 team, which is Minnesota.
With a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of these backups are going to get their jobs.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Tony Romo.
I don't know when Bridgewater's supposed to come back, but I feel like it's supposed to be this season. When he does, is Bradford still going to have the job? Considering the way that Minnesota's going, like you said, Tony Romo, Dak Prescott or whatever his name is in Dallas, he's put them to 4-1, and I guess they had a horrible home record, and they're still cruising through, and that's actually what I was counting on with Cincinnati. they Dallas sucks
when
at home.
Romo gets in there, then this shit's gonna change. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You go back.
So I got to pay attention to that.
Tony Choco, fuck that shit.
Yeah. So why Jerry Jones came out and said, "Oh no, Romo's our guy." Maybe they're paying him too much money or some shit. I don't know.
No, this happens a lot. This concludes week 5 of the NFL and episode 5 of Laces Out /Rant.
Every week.
So make sure you check us out on YouTube at Comic Movie Marks. Check us out in iTunes or Google Play Store, where there's any podcast app in that motherfucker, at Comic Movie Marks.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagram for all of our weekly picks of the Laces Out segment. It's turned out to be a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth and bantering between us, and weekly rants. So,
I'm having more fun with this season than I have in previous ones, so that's what this one's doing. And we want you guys to join in with us. Give us your scores. Let us know who you think's going to win. Let us know who you think is going to lose out of me and Shane.
Yeah.
Who's the idiots? Who's the winners? Me. And so just
the idiots and winners. Yep.
Yeah. just let us know. All right. And that concludes that. So take care now.
Bye then. Laces out.